there, Tim and Aratuma back at you. So today I wanted to show you this Kaiweets KTL01 voltage tester. This is a non-contact voltage tester, and this is one of their newer models that's out. Also, I wanted to show you the Kaiweets HT208F, which is a clamp meter. Now, if you're in the market for a clamp meter, you're a DIYer or homeowner, this is probably one of the best meters you can get for doing stuff at your home. So when you get the HT208F from Kaiweets, it'll be wrapped up. Comes in a kind of a hard shell, soft hard shell kind of case. And once you get everything unpacked, get everything unbanded, unpacked. They got some pretty nice leads with this one. I'm gonna leave the temperature probe. I have several of those, so I'm just gonna leave that in there. Gotta put the batteries in, and that takes a Phillips head screwdriver, small Phillips head screwdriver, super easy magnetic screwdriver, which is pretty nice. And batteries in here. The batteries do come with it as well. Kaiweets makes a pretty good meter, especially for DIY people and stuff like that. Homeowners, somebody wants to get into it, basic stuff. And I like the upgraded screen that they have. So it used to be where it was color screen, and then when you went outside, you couldn't see it. So now you can light it up in low light situations. Go down to, there's a combo. This is an auto setting here. You got ohms, continuity, and diodes and capacitors, and you can function in between them, which is pretty nice. Now the test leads are a really nice soft material. I like the way they make these. Pretty different. I'll take these off too. And typically, I guess I could leave them on. Now this goes up to 1,000 volts, 600 amps, and then you have the covers on here. Take those off. Now I heard somebody say that they didn't color code these, but if you're a DIYer, you might actually put them in the wrong one. If you're, just know that the black goes in the common if you're just starting out, and then you have it in the black right here, and the input goes on the red one. Now, some technicians have these tools as well. What I like about this KTL01 is it has the kind of a competence meter. Basically tells you it's a high definition LCD screen, and it gives you a live percentage of basically a proximity bar graph, so it tells you kind of how strong the signal is. Let me give you an example of that here in a second here. Let me hold it up against my outlet here. If you can see that, it says 15%, and it also blinks red, and it's up to 25. And if I get over on this side, goes up about the same. But if I go over here, it goes up. It's pretty sensitive. So it says like 75, 80%, which is nice and audible. So you can, rest assured that if a wire is hot or not, which is pretty cool. Let me go over here to the light switch. You can kind of see. So that light switch is hot. See, this one's basically, I have the lights on. Let's see if I turn it off. And the other side of the switch turns green. Let me turn it back on and see what I mean, the difference. So what I like about that is you can kind of rest assured that that the power is actually on. So it's pretty nice, and you can adjust the sensitivity on it as well. Also has with a light that comes on in low light situations. Just a really nice little voltage tester. I don't 100% rely on these. Usually if I check it with that, and then I'll back it up with a meter. I suggest that if you're not used to electricity, you can go back and like test an outlet with the meter and know that it's actually hot for sure. But this is pretty accurate. So I really like that fact of it. What I like about this is too, it has an intelligent backlight, so it turns from green to red when you get a live phase alert. So you'll know that if it's the wire's actually hot. And it also has a dynamic buzzer, and it also gives you an audible alarm, and then it helps you track hidden breaks in wires and stuff, which is pretty nice. This thing is also it's very kind of ergonomic, and it has a kind of a rugged pocket design, but it's a heavy duty clip as well, so you can put it in your shirt pocket and stuff like that, which is pretty nice. Have to go out in the dark and stuff like that and work on HVAC lines and stuff. Now this thing takes when you get it, it actually does come with AAA batteries in the pack. They actually give you the AAA batteries in there. You can put rechargeable batteries in there whoopsie, if you wanted to, but I've had this thing probably now 2 or 3 months, and I'm still using the original batteries that they sent me. It's pretty nice. It gives you a look on there for AC, adjust your sensitivity, and check your wires, which is pretty nice. I found that the thicker the wire, the lower the percentages on here, but it still picks it up pretty good. It also has a 5-minute auto shut off, so if you happen to forget to turn it off, it'll turn off by itself. On the Kaiweets, let me turn this one off here. Here I have the Kaiweets HT208F, and if you saw my video on the earlier version of this, I think it was the 208D, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that was pretty close. It actually had a color screen, which was difficult to see in the direct sunlight. So you can take this one out in the direct sunlight, and it's just like pretty much, a fluke meter, field piece meter that has the gray backlit screen. Now you can turn on the light to make it brighter in low light situations, and then turn it back off if you want, which is pretty nice. Now this is the heavy duty capacity. This is true RMS meter. This is industrial style 1000 amp AC and DC meter, and this meter also has inrush mode, where you can check the inrush on when things start up and stuff, which is pretty nice. 100 millisecond inrush mode, which helps you look at failing motors and stuff by checking the inrush, which is pretty cool. Now I don't know too much about, one of the things on here is the VFD filtering. I'm not really versed in that, so if you're in the comments and you want to comment and let me know how to do the VFD filtering and the low Z ghost voltage checking, I'd like to learn how to do some of that, because that one was kind of new to me when I was looking at the specs on this meter. Now the clamp on this has a 38 millimeter jaw capacity, so it opens up pretty far, and this is just a stand I have for one of my cell phones. I just wanted to put it up here so you can see. This has a pretty good opening jaw if you're checking checking amp draws on wires and stuff like that. You can check very thick commercial feed wires and stuff like that with this wide opening, so it's pretty cool. This has a 6,000 count display, has backlight, it's backlit for high visibility. You can see here I can turn the backlight on and back off, so it's super bright, which is really nice. The HT208F has a full diagnostic suite, and what I mean by that is test resistance, capacitance, continuity, diodes. I have a couple have a DeWalt battery here. Let me go to voltage, and let me see if I can get these pins in here. You have to kind of squeeze them in here a little bit, and you can see it's going to 19.57 volts. The pins are in there pretty deep. You can see that around my big hands, but it shows 19.57 volts on there. And then it's got an auto feature it goes from AC to DC, so you don't have to worry about that too much. And then here let me pull one of these other capacitors. These are like air conditioning capacitor, so this actually reads capacitance, which is good for like HVAC guys and stuff. The only thing I noticed on here is it has an auto feature, so when you put it to the resistance, capacitance, diode and continuity feature, it actually auto engages in between them. So I got it to here, should be around 40, so 40.2, and that is for when you check a capacitor, you got to check this is a dual run capacitor, so you you have the Herm, which is your for your compressor, the fan, and then the common. So you want to go in between the Herm and the common. It should be 40, right around 40. So that's good. And then the common to fan, and it should be around 4.96. So that's within range. When you check one of these, you have to, it'd be plus or minus a certain percentage. This one is a plus or minus 3%. So you have to do some math on there. But as long as it's in with the plus or minus with 3%, then the capacitor is still good. So that one is really decent. Let me check this other capacitor here. This should be 45. Oh, this is the fan. So I got fan, and common, sorry, should be 5. And then I got fan and, common and Herm should be 45. Right around 45. So that's 44.96. So that's pretty accurate there. And then I have a regular capacitor here. This one is a 10 microfarad. And you notice on the meter, I basically just took the function button and put it over to NF, and it's reading 10.45. So that capacitor is good as well. If you ever have to change a capacitor and you feel confident enough to do it for your AC unit, you just got to make sure you discharge these when you pull the old one off if you want to test it. And by discharging it, basically I usually take like usually an insulated screwdriver, and I just go across the contacts like that. But if you don't feel that you can do that safely enough, please don't do it, because you can be hurt pretty badly by doing that. And then I'm gonna check on this deal up here and put one in here and one in here. Oh, hold on, I got the wrong one. Now on the voltage, it'll switch between AC. So it should, I get it on the correct one, get it in here correctly, get it on volts. Now it should check 123 volts. I've just got it on I know you can't see this, but I've got it on the multi-plug up here, 123 volts. So yeah, it's a really, really nice meter. Again, you can check resistance, capacitance, continuity, diodes, pretty much all that stuff with this meter. Pretty sweet. It's also HVAC ready, like I showed you earlier, and then you got a thermocouple temperature reading. You can also do temperatures with this. What's nice about this meter as well is it also has non-contact right here. So, and then the sensor is right here at the tip. So you can literally know that you're getting around an audible. I'll pull it back, it goes green. Tells you it's hot, which is pretty cool. Let me come over here by the light switch again. See? So you can literally use that. That's the hot side and the neutral side. Pretty cool. It's pretty decent. I'll kind of go over the dial so you can see what's on here. So this first section is a VFD inrush, 1000 amps and 600 amp settings. And then you have the voltage setting, the hertz percentage, the hertz setting. Here you have continuity, ohms, test diodes and capacitors. Here you have Fahrenheit and Celsius. You can switch these. I think it's through the function button, but you can switch those. And then you have the low Z voltage. Don't know exactly how to use that one, but you know the non-contact or live circuit, so you can test it and see if it's hot just by checking it out. It tells you you're getting close. It's green, and then it goes red when you're real close to a hot line. So, and then you have on the front here you have the 0 button, the minimum, max, and then the range, and then the function button, which also turns on your light. So you do that to the light. You can go when you're on a setting, you go in between non-contact and live, and then you go to, you got voltage, you can switch in between modes there. Your temperature, you can, let me see if you can switch them. There's a way to switch these two. I don't remember how to do it. And then, of course, here when you run to test, if you want to test like a capacitor, right now it's on mega ohms. And then you got ohms for diodes. And then you got NF, which is your capacitance. So you check capacitors there. And then you go to hertz. You got your hertz settings. That's pretty much one deal. VFD volume, go from between AC and DC and auto. And then you got your 600 amps, which is pretty cool. And then you also here you have a hold button and a light when you're in low light situations. And then you go back to off. In the back, this is where you put your batteries in. Takes literally a small Phillips screwdriver. And also you can take your leads, and I've seen people do like this. They'll have one lead in here and one lead here, so they're touching, actually holding the meter so you can actually see it instead of having to look down. Or they'll do the other way around with they'll slide the ground in here and touch a ground with that. And then it's kind of in the back though, so but you kind of do that. If you're getting good value out of my channel, I appreciate it if you go down there, hit the like and subscribe button, hit the bell icon, you'll get notified when I post a new video or go live. This is Tim and Area 2, I'm back at you.
I'll be back.